I rubbed my hands together and quietly cursed all my ancestors. "Bring gloves, Austin," Maddie had said. "Oh, I'll be fine. It's not that cold," I had replied some minutes before, regretting my entire existence. Holding them together, I brought my hands to my lips and blew my heated breath to keep warm. Like a steam locomotive, I puffed out an entire cloud and shifted my weight from one foot to the other and back. This was my dark gray coat's third winter. With some needlework over my morning coffee every so often, I'd managed to keep it looking pretty good. Or at least, I kept it from falling apart. Not that anyone would notice if one of the sleeves fell off. The kind of crowd I was around wasn't terribly interested in what I was wearing. They were more interested in what I hid underneath the layers. But tonight, no layers were enough to keep me from the chills blowing from the Atlantic. They cut through my coat like it was the finest, thinnest silk lingerie I'd ever worn. I paced up and down the street. Jack Holloway was one of those guys. A workaholic and, as the old adage went, a dull boy. But it definitely wasn't the case of Jack not knowing how to play. He could play hard when he was in the mood for it. This was the case of a man so busy with work that he forgot he'd booked playing for later. It wouldn't have been the first time I got a text from him apologizing and letting me know he wouldn't make it. However, it would be the first time such a text was the difference between life and ruin. I was desperate for tonight's payout. More desperate than I'd ever felt before. "Damn," I muttered, as I lifted my gaze to the pool of orange light coming from a street lamp. In it, fresh snow flurried in the wind before I felt it peck my cheeks. My fingers were getting numb, which really wasn't ideal for someone who worked with their hands in the way I did. I mean, the last thing I wanted was to make Jack Holloway squirm and squeal. I was all about the best experience I could offer, and cold hands was as far from premium servicing as you could get. "Austin?" The familiar voice came from far behind. As soon as I heard him, I realized I'd chosen this spot for a reason. I had expected Jack to be late just as much as I'd expected my friend to be around. I turned on my heels and flashed him a grin. "What brings you here?" I joked. Parrish Turner pointed his thumb over his shoulder at the small tattoo shop and rolled his eyes. "Get in." My heart inflated as I headed down the street. The white neon lights that normally made the parlor bright were all out. Instead, yellow lamplights made for a subdued atmosphere inside. When I walked in, the heat from the electric heater washed over me, and I wanted to fall asleep right there and then.